Good morning Year 3 and 4 and welcome to Monday the 1st of March and your first lesson for Learning Journey. This is the AM section. So today our plan is going to be plan our postcard and write our first draft. And then in the afternoon you will be looking at a small video explaining tertiary colours, tints and shades, and then you'll be expected to start painting your picture. Now you have got Monday, Wednesday and Thursday to paint your picture, and obviously you can use Tuesday if you want to, but as you know you have your reading lesson to do. So Monday we're going to be having a look at planning, writing our first draft. Wednesday we're going to have a look at doing our editing, which is our cups V, and then writing our second draft, and then on Thursday we'll be editing that second draft again and then writing up our final postcard. Okay, so let's get started. So here is how I would like you to lay out your page. Now you have my plan to do, you have different sections to include. Now however you want to lay this out is completely up to you. So I would pause the video now and get the date and the title and the linking thinking column set up, but you may want to do this planning section maybe into little bubbles, into circles, into rectangles. You may want to draw yourself out a little box. It's completely up to you. I prefer to use little sections underlined, and I'll show you how I do that, but you can lay it out however you would like to. You could do a flow diagram. This is all up to you for this one, but these are the sections you will need. Who I'm writing to, introduction, +1, +2, final point, and then signing off. So I'm going to go through mine now. Make sure you pause the video, have your date, title, and linking thinking column set up, and let's get started. Okay, so if you're joining me now, you are linking your work from last week. So you need to have a look at who you decided to write to in your linking thinking column. So here's a refresh of my reflection section from last Friday. I said that I would like to write to Morrison's because they've been so helpful during this tough time, and I would like to spread the hope of more shops and activities opening soon to help their workers' hopefulness to be boosted. So that's my focus. So take a moment now to either go back through your learning journey or go back through your dojo posts to have a look at who you focused on and why. Okay, so like I said, I like to underline mine, so I'm going to underline this one in black, and then I'm going to change the colour of who I'm writing to. So who am I writing to? I am writing to Morrison's. Change that colour because I quite like my notes to be colourful so long as they are neat. So there we go. So introduction, we like to, in an introduction to a letter or a postcard, we like to say why we are writing. So I am writing to inspire hope for Morrison's, I can't type today, Morrison's workers. So remember, these are not full sentences, these are just ideas to help you with your planning. So don't worry about having your full sentences now. Oh, it doesn't like the spelling of Morrison's, but there you go. So the positives are about the things that you're going to write to them about, the people or the objects that have inspired hope throughout our lockdown and throughout the last year. So again, you need to go back through your learning journey and have a look at the things that you've already unpicked. If you were one of those children who worked with me and you only have one to focus on, that's absolutely fine. You won't need +2. Okay, so let's have a look back at mine to get some ideas. Again, I will write these up into full sentences when it comes to my first draft, and you'll see how I do that later. But for now, let's do our plan. Okay, so I'm going to move on to my page where I talked about the things that have inspired hope. So you'll see that in a second. So this was going back to this piece of work where we name the object or the person, say what they did and how it spread hope. Things that I'm going to focus on are Sir Captain Tom Moore down here, and then also the roadmap out of lockdown. Because I'm writing to somebody else, I'm going to try and use some more sophisticated things to talk to them about. So if you need a refresh of this, I suggest you pause the video here go back through your learning journey, find this piece of work, and then we'll go back to the plan. Okay, so here are my 2 positives that I'm going to focus on. And then final point. So the final point is including I would like to hear back from them. Now obviously if you're writing your postcard to somebody that you don't know, then please be careful about talking about hearing back from them. You can always get them to write a postcard back to school because that would be the safest thing, but I want you to make sure that you are comfortable with receiving a postcard back, so please be careful with that, and please ask your grown-ups permission. Okay, so for me, I'm okay with it sending back into the school, for them to write back to the school, but I'm not necessarily wanting a reply, so don't worry about that. Okay, so I'm going to send the postcard to spread hope, but we don't necessarily want to hear back from them, so you can change this speech in your final point. So you could say you would like to hear back from them, or you could talk about your painting that you're going to send off. I hope you enjoyed the painting I sent, and that this postcard has brought you hope. Okay, so that's a very short version of what I'm going to say. Again, if you do want to receive, if you're writing to somebody like a friend or a relative, then you might want to reply. So long as you ask your grown-ups permission, I'm sure they wouldn't mind you receiving a postcard back. But for most of you, if you're writing to someone like Morrison's, like myself, then really it's not appropriate to get a reply unless your grown-up is happy for that to happen. Okay, so now let's talk about signing off. If you have someone, if you're writing to somebody that you know, say a grown-up or a relative or a friend, then you might want to put something like best wishes. Can you think of any other sign-off things that you could write at the bottom of a postcard if you don't know someone that well? Pause the video now and have a think. So you could have kind regards. Or again, if you know the person really well, you could put love from. So really think about which one is appropriate. Which one do you think would be appropriate for me to write to Morrison's? Yes, I'm going to put kind regards for Morrison's one. So that is my plan. So I'm going to pause the video now and then I'm going to have a go at my first draft, writing it up in full sentences. Now when I show you mine, you can magpie some of the vocabulary that you see in there. Think back to a couple of the English skills that we've used. We've used fronted adverbials. We have used different sentence types. What could you include in yours? And let's get ready to write together. Okay, so here's my attempt at my first draft. So, dear Morrisons, I know these past few months have been tough with the restrictions, but there have been plenty of positives that have inspired the nation. Did you know that Sir Captain Tom Moore inspired hope into the whole of the NHS? Even though he was 99 years old, he managed to do 100 laps of his garden and raised an incredible and astonishing £33 million. On the 22nd of February, Boris Johnson announced the roadmap out of lockdown and laid out the plan to all of us to have a bit of normality back. Which part of the roadmap are you most hopeful for? I look forward to hearing your reply and I hope you like the picture too. Kind regards, Miss T. Now some of you when I was reading this may have noticed some spelling mistakes and some errors. Now that is to show you an example so that we can use cups tomorrow, so don't worry. If you've picked them up, thank you, you'll be ready for tomorrow. So I'm going to scroll through this letter really slowly so that you can see the devices that I've used today. So I've got my addressing section, I've addressed it to Morrison's. I've got my first section, my introduction, then I've split it with a line. Now this is only one line gap, but on the computer it's quite large, so this is just leaving a single line. Then I've used what kind of question here? What question have I used here? Have a think. And then I've included some facts which will help boost the hopefulness of it. What's this called here? What skill have I used here? And what have I used again in the second paragraph? Then I've got my extra bit of information, and then I've signed off my postcard. So although it's not that much writing because we have to fit it onto a postcard, we can still fit in a lot of English skills. Those of you that are trying to push themselves with their English skills, then please go back through your learning journey, have a look at the ones that we've built up so far. Fronted adverbials, adjectives and sentence types are something that I would look for you to be using and applying into your postcard. Okay, enjoy this first part, and then I'm going to look at the linking thinking column. So if you're joining me for this section of the video, we're now going to have a little bit of a think about what we've managed to do today. So you should have finished out your plan, had a go at your first draft, and now you're ready to do your linking thinking column. Okay, let's have a look together. Okay, so again, we've got our thermometer here. So you need to think about where is your outcome. You might still be thinking, actually, I'm still a little bit stuck. So in terms of writing a postcard and how to structure it, you could put yourself at 1 and say that I need a bit of help explaining some of the positives in this postcard, and that's fine. I'm going to put myself at a 2. What do I need to do next? I need to edit my work and check that I have used some of the English. Just check I've got a capital E for English. No, English skills that I have learnt throughout online learning. So I know I need to push myself, so I've put I need to edit my work and check that I have used some of the English skills that I've learnt throughout online learning. Your next step could be that you need to check that you've used capital letters, full stops, finger spaces. You can also think back to your target that you set yourself before half term. It might be a learning journey target, and that's what you could work on. So just to recap for today, you need to plan, write your first draft. For some of you, these sections will just be simple sentences, and that's absolutely fine. Those of you that I know you'll know who I'm talking to, you need to try and push yourself to create a full paragraph for each section. So number 1, plan. 2, write your first draft. Number 3, do your linking thinking column and explain what you need to do next. Okay, thank you for joining me this morning. The afternoon lesson is just a small one about art, and then you can start painting your picture. I can't wait to see your finished outcomes. Well done everyone, and I'll see you on Wednesday.